So as I compose myself and catch my breath, I invite you to, come out and join us here when you get the chance to do so. And we are very open, inclusive. We have lots of fun here as a community and team here at E4X. And really a chance for you to continue to develop your business, not just in a physical space. And due to COVID, we've definitely had to pivot to all of our resources, majority of them being delivered online. And this really provided us an opportunity to even reach people beyond the region of Peel. We've worked with people in Vancouver, we've worked with people in Alberta, we've met with people who are even in Ghana doing entrepreneurial activities and having some really awesome and dynamic conversation about their entrepreneurial journey as well. BizGrams is really a space where we've been using to showcase different entrepreneurs who have their own journey, whether it be a for-profit entity or a non-profit entity, a space where they've come on board to share some of their tips and insights and their experiences and ways that they can give back to community. And one of the things that we realized, in particular during COVID, many entrepreneurs that come through our doors or engage with us operate in a service-based type business. So that be professional services, type cleaning services, any type of service base. We see a lot of those two buckets. So professional services, so that's the accountant. We're looking at, different brokers. We're talking about, house cleaners, commercial cleaners, residential cleaners, and really an opportunity for that type of, service-based community to be plugging into a space where they feel safe, welcome, and supported. And that's what we excel and hope to continue to bring great value to this community in doing so. The reality is that during COVID, many of these service-based businesses, because they were operating primarily in a low-tech space, they were drastically affected by COVID. What we also saw is that many entrepreneurs that were, in the ecosystem, not directly plugged into us, were either unregistered or running as a sole proprietor. And we know when the early recovery funds were being disseminated, many of those entrepreneurs were excluded from those spaces. And sadly, doors were being forced to close, businesses halt, and you gradually, so as COVID, time progressed, the year has passed. It's amazing a year has passed already in the States. People are really now starting to think about innovation, pivoting, how they can make a change to continue to navigate on this journey. And that is the invitation that we give you here at E4X. Most times when you're building a business, you're doing it alone. And we're saying you don't have to do it alone. You could definitely do it in community. You saw the space, we do it virtually as well in terms of supporting our entrepreneurs in our community. But more importantly, understanding you at where you are and really tailoring services to help you. One, either you take your current business and you're saying, okay, I love this, I believe in it, it can continue to flourish. It has continued to generate some revenue during this time period of change, but you need to do something differently, especially if you're thinking about scaling and growing a business. Far too many of us remain as a solopreneur for an extended period of time, and that in itself is not sustainable. So we're really, working with our community to start changing our mindsets around self-employment versus running a big business. And many of us talk about leaving legacy businesses for our kids, grandkids, and beyond. IPO, we've seen people wanting to go into mergers and acquisitions, but you have to lay a plan for that, right? And really surround yourself in a community that can help you do so. So what we decided to do in order to help businesses really start to think about scaling, so helping self-employed people really think about scaling their businesses, really looking at helping them get investment ready as well as procurement ready. Really, we started the Business Accelerator to help them with this digital transformation. So the ones that have a business that's continuing to grow, really helping them evaluate the current infrastructure that they have around, potentially digital tools to help them become more technologically enabled. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to just jump to tech like that. My tech team will be like, Chris-Beth, don't say that. And I would agree 100%. What we do is evaluate the current state and then ask the question, is this point here, intersection point here of value? Is it adding value? Is it taking away value? Is there no value? And really start readjusting accordingly. But before we inject technology in a massive way, really looking at how you're currently doing it and then helping you to navigate to that point and in automations if necessary. And then the second group of individuals that we worked with here are those that may have a business and it has come to a stop and they need to really think about what can I do to reimagine how I could navigate this COVID landscape. And so with the Business Accelerator, that's the invitation that we're giving to folks that are interested and are willing and capable of participating. Really the supportive community where you get the business foundations. You may have gone to different, spaces where you're learning about, who's your customer? And I go back to this. You need clarity around the foundations. And that clarity then sets the tone and precedence for you building a sustainable business and a business plan to support you as you move forward. Not just guessing, oh, today I feel like I would do that, or tomorrow, or sometimes you get up and you're like, I don't even know what I need to do today in order to advance my business. And so really having a plan that helps to shape how you move forward in terms of growing and establishing your business going forward. And so with the Business Accelerator, really looking at ways in which we can help you with the business fundamentals. So as I mentioned, getting clear on your value proposition. And if you're not sure what that is, you definitely need to listen in and, do some research, check it out yourself. So understanding with clarity, what is the problem that you're solving? Who has that problem? And what is your potential solution that can help them solve that problem? Really, if you're able to nail that down, you're well on your way. You're off to a good start. But remember that all ideas are not created equal, right? And so the point of entrepreneurship fundamentally is that sometimes there isn't a magic blueprint to say you can go from A to Z with no complications and get to your end goal. It doesn't work like that, sadly. There's lots of highs and lows. So highs and lows, highs and lows. Sometimes, you're growing that, hockey stick curve, which is great, but along the way, you're going through some motions there, but really understanding that the fundamentals of business building is so critical. And that's where we start with everyone. Let's check in. Yes, you've been doing this a couple years. Yes, you know these things. I'm not taking away anything from you. But what we're saying, let's come into agreement and understanding of where you are when it relates to these different milestones around your financial planning, around the marketing and communication, around the sales. All of those things in the fundamental section of the accelerator, and then moving forward to really then saying, okay, we're about to lift up the hood to check the numbers, to check all of these things, to see how they are truly operating. What is the day in the life of your business? Have you tracked that lately? What is the day of your life in your business? Are you spending a lot of time working in the business versus working on the business? And the reality, if you're not familiar with those terminologies, working in the business is you being the technician. So I oftentimes refer to one book that I love, and I refer to every entrepreneur must read, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. He talks about, when you enter into this entrepreneurial space, you're oftentimes the CEO, the visionary. You get to get the opportunity of casting an amazing vision, building something from nothing. And guess what? That is super exciting. So great. You also have to play the role of the manager, the person who has to look at all of the systems, the people, and make sure that that value is getting delivered end to end. And finally, he talks about the role of the technician. The technician is the one who is literally pushing the email, sending the emails, literally creating the product, literally doing all of the things necessary to get that value delivered to the client and the customer, which is great. but that's only sustainable for a time. And the reality, the invitation is far too many of us spend our times in our business in this self-employment role. So we've created 3 jobs now for ourselves. So we might have left our 9 to 5, but now we have 3 jobs. That's craziness, right? And he talks about that. So really the invitation is expanding your knowledge about what it takes to grow a business where there's team. You're not doing it by yourself, but that by including other people into your spaces, you go through this shift of creating space where you can continue to be strategic and supporting the cultural development of your team as you're moving forward. So critical. So there's that shift from the doing of the thing to really being the thing and casting the vision and moving forward in that way.